everyone, I am live and welcome to the weekly show of Classroom Without Walls, using technology to reimagine education. My name is I am the host of this weekly Facebook live show. And Christina is going to join us in a few minutes. Oh, I think she's here.
Oh, I can't hear you. 1 second.
Can you hear me? Christina, you are live.
Okay. Are you there?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Oh. Can you hear me? Okay. Yep, it was my audio. I needed to turn it up.
We are live.
Yay!
And I was just about to introduce my show. And thank you so much for being here, everyone. And I created this show because I believe our society has changed a lot. Social media and technology play a huge role in our changing society, and I want to take advantage of social media and technology to create a digital space where we can come together and build a community and learn from each other. In this space, we are teachers and students at the same time. On my show, I interview leading professionals and educators like Christina Torres, and to discuss topics related to social media, technology, education. If you are new to the show, thank you so much for being here. I love you. And if you are returning attendee, you know how much I love you and how much your support means to me. Elaine is here. Jim is here. Thank you so much. Guys, Shival is here. Shival is the person who helped me discover you, Christina. And Shival, he's amazing. And if you are watching this on replay, thank you so much, future people. And today I'm so honored to have Christina join us live to discuss content planning and content creation and increasing engagement. Christina is known as PR Christina in the digital space. She is an amazing social media specialist, speaker, and consultant. Her specialty is in helping small businesses and nonprofit organizations to leverage social media to create engaging communities and to increase profit. And I'm so honored to have you join us, Christina. Thank you so much, and welcome to the show.
Oh, I am so honored that you asked me. You're honestly one of the best in the space, and so I'm very honored to be a part of this today. So thank you. I appreciate that.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. And also, I just want to send out, Rebecca is here. Hey, everyone.
Hey, Rebecca.
Yes, and Elaine is here. And you're welcome, Shua. If you can also tell us which country, and this is one of my favorite part of this show, because I love seeing people from different countries and join the show. It is just fascinating, how technology can make this happen. So if you can take a few seconds to share with us where you are joining us from, that would be great. And also, remember last week we did the show with Lisa Beyer. We discussed digital detox. So if you can stay till the end of the show, I'm going to draw a lucky winner of a person who shared our interview with Lisa, and to get a free copy of Lisa's book. So I'm going to do that at the end of the show. Okay, so if you were here last week and you shared my interview with Lisa Beyer, please stay till the end of the show. Okay. And
awesome.
do you want to add anything? One song. Thank you so much. And I want to add anything to my introduction?
I'm just watching everyone come in. It's awesome isn't it awesome how the online space connects us all and introduces us to new people that we never have met, in real life.
Exactly. And I'm right now, it's like Thursday for me, 6 a.m. I'm in Seoul, South Korea. Right. I'm all over from the future, and we have different time zones here.
So Wednesday was a good day, right?
Wednesday was a great day. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so maybe we can just get started here. And also, I'm going to everyone join us live. I'm also going to share the Be Live link to our interview. I will pin the link in the comment section. Okay, and anyone, if you want to join us live, the live video chat, please feel free to click on the link and say hi to me. And Christina is just amazing. Who doesn't want to say hi to her, right? So just click on the link and join us live for a few minutes or seconds, however long you want to stay to chat with us. I'm just going to get started with my questions here, and please feel free to share and to send your questions in the comment section. Oh, thank you. Originally from South Korea, and right now he's in Finland. Oh, that's like just
that's great.
So great. Yeah. So Christina, one of your yeah,
a few people there. I see a few people in from Houston today. Rebecca and Ken.
Yeah,
and
Rebecca, you need to join us live because we chat all the time, but never connect with you in person. After I pin the Be Live link, I encourage you or challenge you to join us live and to say hi to us so I can meet you. And so, Christina, one area of your expertise is building communities. So I wonder if you can share with us what role does content planning play in terms of building communities?
So I guess kind of let me start from the beginning. The reason that I focus on building communities is because social media is a different type of space, isn't it? It's not typical marketing like everything else. It's not a press release. It's not a newspaper. It's not a billboard. Social media is a completely different type of animal that connects people in a social manner rather than advertising straight to their face, right? Mm-hmm. And so you have to make sure that community building is really that basis of what you're doing on social media when you're a business. And so that's kind of the role that content planning comes into Australia. Hey,
Chocolate Johnny. I don't know if you follow Chocolate Johnny. He's amazing live streamer. Thank you so much for joining us, Chocolate Johnny. Sorry
You're welcome to send me chocolate. I'm okay with that.
We all love you, and we love chocolate.
Right? And so yeah, that as far as content planning goes, when you're working with communities and building a community, but you're a business, you have to kind of play to a certain audience. And so you want to prevent that last minute posting. So when you're posting just kind of on the fly, like most people do on social media, you're not giving the audience a chance to engage, which is what social media is for. And so, for example, if you're planning an event and your event, say, is 3 months down the line, which you should be starting to plan at least 3 months ahead, then just posting the day before won't help people to share your event, to engage with your event, to learn about the sponsors of your event, things like that. And so I really encourage people to plan their content ahead of time, and that's really, really what I specialize in. And so, event planning we could do 3 months ahead, but I typically push people to at least look at their content 1 month ahead. I mean, try to avoid that last minute. Hey, it's May. We need to think about May content now. And so that planning ahead really does help you connect to your audience.
Wow, that is amazing. I'm not doing any of those things. But this is great. So do you think people planning is great? Should people plan content for every day, or should people post every day, or space out?
Sure. So I think it depends on the platform you're on. you could post every hour on Twitter and you'd be fine. But if you posted every hour on Facebook or every hour on Instagram, you're going to start spamming people and they're going to start getting annoyed with your content. And it won't get the reach that it should. Whereas on Twitter, if you're posting every hour, they don't mind that because Twitter moves so fast. And so it really depends on the platform that your audience is engaging on. And you can plan all of your content ahead for each of these platforms, but really only focus on the ones that your audience is interacting on, and put that energy and that time toward the audience that, where they're congregating. And so if they're congregating on Facebook, then yeah, go ahead and post on Facebook, but make sure that you're doing it to a rhythm that your audience can actually have a chance to engage and that your posts aren't competing against each other.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Yeah. Just 1 second. I noticed that my comments on Facebook are also disappeared. And
no.
I see this comment from Elaine, and her comments are also disappearing. What's going on? I was trying to pin the BeLive link. I tried a few times, that every single time disappeared. And did you guys have the same problem? But I can see the comments in my BeLive screen.
I'm checking it out also on my end.
Yeah, let me know, because I do want to share and see people's comments. This is so strange. Every time, new challenge. Yeah, and Jim, thank you so much for joining us. I will keep trying. And
that's bizarre, huh?
That is so strange. I will keep trying. Yeah, we will just keep going, and I'm going to keep trying. I have no idea what happened, and keep refreshing. So that's really great, and which is a nice transition to my next question. Lately and the past several months or years, there are just like lots of algorithm changes on almost every single social media channels, and I think people, small business owners, social media marketers, and people like myself just feel like confused, like what's going on. So can you please share with us what kinds of content should we produce now that can help us kind of favored by the algorithms and also help us gain engagement, views, and shares, things like that?
So, so thinking about kind of where social media started, and where it is today really helps people understand where to go with their content typically. And so thinking back to, the early days of Facebook, when Mark Zuckerberg and his team were creating this empire that it became, it really wasn't meant for advertising and marketing and selling. It was meant for people to connect to each other and to build a community. And so, and then that merger between, or well, not necessarily a merger, but when Facebook bought out Instagram, they kind of started to change the algorithm toward that same idea. And it really kind of starts to spread out through social media, that social media isn't for selling, it's for engaging. And so it really is. And so you have to remember kind of where we started and why we started social media, and think about the content and the purpose of social media when you're thinking about the content for your audience. And so it really needs to be more for connecting people and not for selling or promoting yourself or things like that. It really is a community building tool, and they're just lucky, or we're lucky, I should say, that Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and Snapchat and all of these platforms allow us to have business pages or to sell or to advertise and push different brands on their social platforms, because it really was never meant for that to begin with. And so we really have to think, what kind of content can we build and share that is focused on social engagement and connection, not, how can I promote myself?
Oh, that is so true. That is so true. And I wonder if you have any, like, what's your take on this? I frequently hear people saying that, being engaging is great. You respond to every single person's post and being super engaging. So, but it is not profitable. It's not scalable. So what's your take on that? Do you think like there is any correlation or connection between like being super engaging or social engagement and by the end of the day, bottom line matters? Is there any connection?
Yeah, we all have bills to pay, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So you have to look at social media as a conversation. And so you can still be selling your products and running your latest sale or promoting your brand, but you need to be doing it in a conversation type of, conversation. So, for example, when you're putting something out there, is it a post that would be able to start a conversation or continue a conversation? Or is it something that, somebody could just comment on, but there's no conversation starting around it? And so I hope that makes sense. It really needs to be, an interactive sort of thing on social media, because again, this isn't a press release. And so we want to make sure that we're having that conversation with people. You can still sneak in your products and sneak in your brand. But if you think about it, the best brands start conversations. And, if you think back to like Super Bowl commercials, they're the ones that people start talking about afterwards because they're humorous, or they they bring up something that is shocking or something that's, actively being talked about in the news, but it's not just the brand selling their latest, widget. And
That's
so, if you focus on, your post, just, think to yourself, okay, would this post, the way that it's worded, would it start a conversation? And maybe just change the verbiage so that it could, rather than just, hey, buy my latest widget for $5.99, or come to my event, but why should I come to your event? That type of thing.
I love that. That's great. It reminds me of what I read, people do business with people, I love, that's why people love Chocolate Johnny, because it's not just people selling a business selling chocolate, but it is him, he used this live streaming, people get to know him. That's that human factor, and here is a question from Elaine. And this is the everlasting, like forever question about ROI. How can you persuade your boss, to invest in communities and actually also understand that social media is a long-term game? So what's your take on that?
So when I work with clients, the first thing we go over is how social media is an engagement tool to create loyalty first and sell second. And if they understand that to begin with, and use examples that maybe they might be brands that they might be loyal to, they're not walking in those doors buying that, pair of shoes every single day, but they might be watching their videos, sharing their content, recommending their brand to their friends and family. And then on, Black Friday or Christmas holiday or whatnot, that's the brand that they choose when they do need to purchase. And so you have to remember that your customers want, like you said, a person, a human interaction, a social interaction behind your brand before they become loyal. And once they become loyal and they see value in what you're doing, then on those days that they are looking to purchase or are looking to share with family and friends, they're going to choose you. And you want them to be choosing you over your competitors, right?
Yeah.
And so that's a tough one because, typically most companies want to see that instant ROI, and social media just isn't the place for that. But social media is the platform to create loyalty to your brand and to get that leg above your competitors. So you can't afford to not be engaging on social media.
Exactly. I remember last year I was working with I hear some echo. I was working with a client, and he was asking me, can you just give us like lots of ROI within a few weeks? I was like, no way, at least half a year to 1 year to see some traction being like you mentioned. Yeah, exactly. I think this takes some time for people to really understand the value of social media and what social media is here for. Yeah. And we have someone who wants to join us, Jim. And I'm going to... You are live, Jim. Yes, we can see you and hear you.
You can hear me, okay? Because I wasn't sure there for a second. Yeah, my pug is off barking at someone at the door, so you may hear some barking in a second. Yeah, great. It's a great points you're bringing up, and yes, you can hear again. Lola, stop it.
He wants to join the video.
But one of the things that I think a lot of businesses are missing out as well is they're not using some of the local SEO to try to establish their presence. And I've noticed, especially with all the changes in Google Maps, that they're not taking advantage of some of the features like being able to add video and some of the other things. So they're also focused on social media, but not really coming up with a plan. What do you think of that?
So that kind of goes back to that effective content planning. Without having any sort of plan, you're not allowing your audience to engage with you. So just because you post doesn't mean anything's going to happen. And just because you utilize, a tool doesn't mean it's going to work. But I really recommend that, like, A/B testing to figure out where your audience sits. Social media is there for you to meet your audience, not for your audience necessarily to meet you. And so you need to cater to where they're having a conversation, not to where you want them to have a conversation. And so if they're having that conversation on Google, you better make sure you're on Google, that type of thing. And I see too many brands say, oh, well, we like Facebook, but we're not too interested in Twitter or something like that. And when you really look into who their target audience is, half their target audience is tweeting all day. And so you need to make sure, like I said, like Jim said, take advantage of SEO and different types of factors to find that target audience, because it can't be about you and where you want to be. It has to be about where they're interacting and the tools that it can take to reach them where they want to be reached.
Oh, such a great point. Like, I think so often we are thinking about our personal agenda, it's about me, but we need to be spending time listening, like watching other people, monitoring content, and like watching hashtags, things like that. Yeah. I just want to give a quick shout out. We have so many people here, and Ross is here. Oh my God, Ross, hi. I'm your big fan. Thank you so much. And for being here. And Maria is here, and Zala is here. And I'm so sorry, the comment section are not working really well. And but thank you.
It's crazy. The comments thing is really weird right now. I don't understand it.
Oh, I love this comment from Chocolate Johnny. He's like, he's an overnight success. It took him 10 years. Yeah, only 10 years, right?
I know the feeling.
Yeah. Anyway, going back to your question, does that help you answer your question, Jim?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Thanks.
Good.
Awesome.
No, thanks for popping in.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
All right.
I'm going
I'll let somebody else jump in if they want to.
Yeah. If anyone have a question or just want to say hi to us, please feel free to just click on that link. I'm so sorry I couldn't pin the link because the comment section is not working, but you have to like going up and down to find the Be Live link to click on that and join us live. That's it. That's great. What you shared so far, Christina, I wonder if you have some techniques that we can follow to create generate a view. Yeah.
You froze there for a second. So I'm assuming you're asking about techniques to be able to create content. Okay. And so like we mentioned before, planning ahead has to be that primary step in creating content. So what I typically do with my clients, with my own content, what I recommend to the nonprofits that I work with is to sit down and to look, hi, Julia, to look ahead at what's coming up. And so typically people, they forget, that you need to engage your audience ahead of time. And so lay out the entire calendar for the next 3 months for that quarter and put, the upcoming events, put the holidays, put anything that applies to your business in that calendar. And then here's my tip, work backwards from those events in planning your content. And so I'm actually going to be doing a class on this at Houston Social Media Day with Rebecca. And we're going to be creating an actual calendar during the workshop to put in all of those events, put in your content, and then work backwards. And oh, Jessica, that's such a good comment. Yes, it doesn't feel like marketing, right? It feels like you're creating that conversation. And so, so using, you can use tools to schedule your content. There's tons of tools out there that allow you to do that. And my advice there is to make sure you find the one that works for you, not just because it's popular or because somebody else is using it, but really find the one that works for you and spend some time looking for the right one. We joke all the time as content creators that there's not like that one, absolutely perfect tool out there. So someday maybe, but it doesn't exist yet. And so find the tool that works for you, but make sure that you're planning ahead with that tool, that it's not just, the next day or even the same week, because you need to give your audience a chance to engage. And so you create the event ahead of time. You start to give the sponsors for the event some coverage and some promotion ahead of time, or even if you're not doing an event, if it's just your regular content, plan out ahead of time. For example, national calendar days, National Donut Day, that type of thing. And if you're a bakery, you should be celebrating that stuff. And so you need to be putting that stuff into your social media to engage people. What's your favorite type of donuts? And, that type of thing. Those are the conversations that start. And then those people will become loyal and come in on National Donut Day to your bakery on that day. And so if you're waiting till the last minute, it's not creating that conversation. Your page is going to get no traffic whatsoever.
Oh, that's great. That's great. I love what you mentioned, Christina, that you need to engage your audience ahead of time, even before you're creating the content. So can you elaborate more on that? Such great piece of advice.
So, so that kind of goes back to being a human, like you said, and becoming what's the word I'm looking for? Embracing, I guess, that humanity within your social media and making sure that your social media truly is social and it's not a press release. And so, or not just an advertisement. And so having that engagement in between, those big days is super important. So just like you do, you bring in guests that provide value. And there's that key word, value, right? You bring in guests that provide value to your audience. And so it gives them the chance to engage. And so whether a brand needs to bring in outside people, whatever they need to do to provide value to their audience really should be a priority in between their latest sale or whatnot. Because what you think is valuable is probably not the same thing that your audience thinks is valuable, right?
Absolutely.
And so,
absolutely.
Focusing on that really has to be one of your first priorities for engagement.
Such a great point. And even my own show, the focus has changed a little bit because I noticed that my audience is kind of interested in certain type of topics. It's different from how I was thinking. So I just change it, listen to your audience and monitor, look at insights and analytics, and then draw your conclusion there. Yeah, this is a great question. Yeah.
So interesting that you mentioned that, because I mean, things that I thought were valuable when I first started creating content for my own page, that's changed too. I think everyone has to shift.
Yeah, I think you just have to really get started, I think planning is important, but you can only plan so much. At a certain point, you have to really test your ideas and then refine the planning part. It's a process going back and forth. It's not linear. It's like a circle coming back and forth. Yeah. So this is another great question from Elaine, which is something I struggle with all the time. So her question is, what if you have audience across multiple social media platforms? How can you create content and balance that? I mean, we only have 24 hours and right, and maybe you have a job that we actually need to do, right? Yeah.
So true. And I think, to be honest, the industry I see struggling the most with this is nonprofits, because they work with a skeleton crew all year long, and they don't typically have someone assigned to do social media that they can pay all year. So you have to go back to who is on that platform that you're speaking to. So it's not that you can't share the same content on each platform. You probably can at least half the time if your audience is shared on each platform. But you have to ask yourself, is your Twitter audience the same demographic as your Facebook audience? And is your Snapchat audience the same demographic as, say, your Instagram audience or whatnot? Because sometimes that answer is no. And so if what you're putting on Facebook is the same thing you're putting on Twitter, but you have two different audiences you're speaking to, then you're wasting your time and spinning your wheels on the other one. So just don't bother taking the time to do it and create something else for that audience. And so maybe, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, you focus on Facebook. Tuesday and Thursday, you focus on Instagram or something like that. If you have to split up your time like that, still having consistency is important. But if you stretch yourself too thin, your content isn't going to be valuable for your audience. So less is more at that point.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Yeah, less is more. We were just talking about this with Julia McCoy a few weeks ago. Less is more. I think that is something I used to struggle with because I don't have a social media team to help me. I'm just me, myself. I really learned instead of trying to just pump up, produce content all the time and focus on quality, and can probably give me better engagement. Yes. I saw someone was asking, and Rebecca said she has to leave soon. Bye, Rebecca. Thank you so much for joining us. Today we have so many people here, and it's the day that the comments section is not working.
That's okay.
Yeah. Oh, here's a question from Dorothy. She wondered if you have any advice for live streaming.
Well, we're having some technical difficulties today.
Amen, yes.
Isn't that the best question right now? So as far as live streaming goes, I'm not the pro in live streaming, and John just made a good point, serve your community first and yourself second. So that goes, and I would say that goes with anything, with live streaming, with posts, with advertisements, with anything across the board. If you're going to go live, make sure you have some value before you go live, and you're not just going live because you think you should go live. And so having that content planning ahead of time, if I'm going to go live, which I haven't been going live very often lately because I had a baby in January and I don't look like this most days. So maybe I should go live later on today because I actually have makeup on. But so when you're planning live videos, though, make sure you're actually planning something that's valuable for your audience. Don't just go live without a plan. You need to know what you're going to talk about, anticipated questions that might come up and ways to answer them and things that you can provide value for your audience with, because when you just go live on the fly, hey guys, I'm at the grocery store today. This is what we're doing. Why does anybody really care about that? Unless you're Kim Kardashian, I guess. And I want to know what kind of fruit you're buying that day or something. Who knows? And so my advice is, it doesn't matter what platform you're going live on. Make sure you have a plan and you have a reason for going live that actually provides value for your audience.
Yeah, I think, there's this compelling theme emerging right now is just think about your audience, planning ahead of time, and serving and providing value, you know. And Dorothy, I interviewed Chocolate Johnny a few weeks on my show, and he is a live streaming expert. I can share the link later after we finish the interview here. So make sure.
His was great. I really do advise going back and checking out his interview because he had some great tips on there, and he goes live way more often than I do. And if that's what you're known for, and that's what you want to be known for, then do it. But in that regard, also make sure, even if you're going to go live every single day, you still need to provide value for your audience, because otherwise they're going to stop watching.
Exactly. And this goes back to the planning part. You know, I was just watching some video because I went to Social Media Marketing World, the conference in San Diego a few months ago, but I was working as a volunteer, so I wasn't able to attend any sessions. And so I was just catching up on the video replay the other day. And this lady, she is an Instagram expert. So she shared that she actually plans like her content, like you mentioned, 3 months ahead of time. She has a huge content calendar, and she did her photo shooting one day, and this every single day. Today I'm talking about my pet. This day I'm talking about my husband, but everything's related to her business. I was like, wow, that is some serious planning. Yes. But it is important.
Your content becomes more detailed and more engaging, and it's so much better when you know what you're about to talk about, and it's been in your head. You know, when you're laying in bed the night before or the week before, and you're thinking about the video that you're going to do, you're going to think of things to say and tips to give more so than if you do it on the fly.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, totally. And there are days that I feel like I have so much I want to share, but I don't want to overflood my newsfeed. But there are other days I feel like, oh, what do I talk about? You know, but I also don't want to share for the sake of sharing. So planning is the solution. Yeah. Here's another great question from Wang Sung. And he was asking if, in terms of building loyalty of the members, do you think it's a good idea to share this informative content that may not be directly related to your product or business plan?
I guess I would need I'm not sure exactly what he's asking. If he could post maybe an example of what he's asking.
Yeah, if you don't mind. Yeah.
Content not directly connected to your business plan. So I guess it depends on your audience. If I'm understanding this question correctly, kind of going away from your branding, maybe, is that what he's asking?
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure. I'm sorry, but I want to make sure that I answer it.
My first impression after reading that question, I feel like you should do things related to your, I don't know, do your business. Otherwise,
I think it's okay once in a while to go off the branding, but you don't want to confuse your audience either. And so, for example, you could use different platforms for different things. And so I'll take myself as an example. Facebook, for me, is a very branded space for me. And it's very business related. All of my branded stuff goes on Facebook. Instagram, on the other hand, is more personal. So if you follow me on Instagram, in my stories, you'll see pictures of my kiddo, pictures of me and my husband, my coffee drink that day, or something like that. That's not necessarily always related to my clients or different tips that I'm putting out there for social media. It's PR Christina behind the scenes. And so it's not necessarily branded.
But in a way, it's still related to your brand, right?
Yeah, that's the point. Yeah. And so I guess it depends. And I'm not sure exactly what the question is asking, but if I'm translating it correctly, you don't want to confuse your audience too much. And so I guess if you're, for example, if you're Starbucks, you probably want to stick to coffee posts and stay away from, posts about tacos or something like that. And so if you could post maybe some more clarification, that might help me answer the question.
That's such a great point. I think everyone listening, I think that's the biggest mistake I made in the earlier days of my social media career. I was talking about everything. I was talking about food, vegan, social media, education, children. I think my audience, they were just so confused. Like, who are you? Like, nobody knows what is my service, my specialty. And I think maybe, especially at the beginning, you need to be kind of focused. Maybe later, after people get to know you, and then you show other aspect. I don't know. But I think that was a mistake I made in my earlier career. I was too scattered.
I mean, and I think that's the fault of just it's social media. I mean, social media is social, so.
Exactly. Oh, I love this comment. Like, Elaine, she's an educator, amazing educator, and some of her students are here. Oh, that's awesome. So happy to hear that. And we were talking about content calendar earlier. I wonder if you can share like some tips in terms of using content calendar effectively, and if there are any like tools or apps that you recommend that you personally enjoy using.
That I personally enjoy using?
Yeah.
So I am actually on the hunt right now for a tool to help me plan content. And I've been testing and doing free trials with different ones. And I haven't found the perfect one yet. Ken actually introduced me to Planoly for Instagram.
Oh.
I'm loving that one. I do really love that one. So I recommend Planoly, and it's very reasonably priced. And so as far as Instagram goes, I love that one. I know that Agorapulse is a really popular one.
Is that right? Did I get it right?
Yes, you spelled that one correctly. Yep. Sprout Social is one that I'm trying right now, and I have been interacting with one called Hey Orca, ORCA. And I do like their platform, but like I said, you have to make sure that these tools, when you're creating a content calendar for yourself or for your clients, actually serve not just the platforms that you're going to be posting on, but the, kind of the workflow that you're used to. And so you might, Hootsuite might be good for some people, but it's a little bit clunky, in my opinion, and hard to navigate around, but it's cheap, to be blunt. And so, but if it doesn't work for you, it doesn't matter how much it costs. And so you really have to kind of dig around and try those free trials and make sure that it's something that works for you and your clients. I've been in the situation where one client is really tech savvy, and I can use one tool with them so that they can log in and see their stuff. And then another client is not tech savvy whatsoever, and we're using simple things like Word documents. And so it really just depends on, if you're serving clients, if you're only serving yourself, that type of thing.
Oh, I love it.
I wish there was a tool that fit for everyone, but not yet.
Yeah, just like what we say in education, personalized teaching. I think the same thing. You're talking about personalized. Yeah. Here's another amazing question from Lana. And she also works in nonprofit, and Christina is an expert in the nonprofit area. And she was asking, how can we post the content that can spark grounded conversations versus being reactive? Oh, that's a great question.
So we have to remember that social media is human, and humans are reactive beings. And so you always kind of have to be on guard for those reactive, especially lately, those reactive comments and even reactive shares that you can't control on social media. And so having someone's eyes on your social media at all times, I would say, is first priority, because yes, in nonprofits, especially when you're out there with different causes and things like that, you're going to get people reacting, not always in a positive, favorable way. But maybe post things as questions and awareness rather than taking a stand one way or the other. And so I typically, when I work with nonprofits, I encourage them to engage their audience in ways that they either answer questions, like I always advise you answer your top 10 questions in your content. And so the questions that you're always getting from your audience, make sure you're inserting those into your content throughout the month, so that people are always asking the same questions. And that's the stuff that people are going to engage in, because those are the questions that are being asked. But make sure that you're posing it as not, this is the stand that we take on this issue, but maybe more informative, or posing a question yourself, or doing an interactive video where you're talking to somebody else or talking to the community, or showing the impact that you're having in the community, rather than, you know, this is the way it is and this is how we feel about it and that's it. You don't want to come across as too political on social media.
Oh yeah, definitely. And we were talking about live streaming earlier. I love this example from my favorite person, Chocolate Johnny, and she said that, and she once titled one of her live streaming sessions "Boring," and gained 10K, right? 10K viewers. Oh my god! And that's just amazing. Yeah, I think you know, you were actually talking about this. Discover like whatever platform you feel comfortable with, you know. And I think for me, I just love being in front of camera. I enjoy, everyone can say I'm a little bit like that, crazy. And people were saying that you also need to launch a podcast. But I feel like maybe in the future, but right now, just myself, I want to do this because I enjoy this. I love this. And it is easier for me. So Chocolate Johnny is such a great example. Yeah.
And that worked for Chocolate Johnny because he has so many loyal fans that they can't imagine him doing something boring. And so that's probably why they tuned in, because it was interesting that Chocolate Johnny would actually be doing something boring that day.
I know. And we are just trying to wrap up here. Everyone, I share the BLab link. If you want to join us live for a few seconds to say hi to us, please click on that link. And or if you have any last minute question, please send them. And I'm going to try my best to share everyone's questions. And also stay till the end. I'm going to select a winner for last week's Facebook Live show. Okay. So here's another great question from Elaine. And she was asking, how can we prevent from feeling like exhausted, burned out, being on social and creating content all the time?
So I think to preface this question, you have to be, like you said, social listening and monitoring your audience. And so you don't want to necessarily be posting the same thing all the time. You might be getting the same top 10 questions all the time, which you can sprinkle in here or there. But if you look at trending topics on social media, it's changing every hour. You know, you want to make sure that your social media is just as interesting as those trending topics. And so if there's something trending that you can pull in to your brand that day, do it. Make sure that you're actually engaging with your audience on topics that they're readily engaging with. And so I know that it can be exhausting to constantly be tracking what's trending, but that's kind of how your brand can stay on top of, you know, what's new and what people are talking about.
Yeah, that is funny that we're talking about this, because yesterday I did my very first speaking engagement in Seoul, South Korea. I was talking about Instagram marketing. And like after my talk, I was chatting with some people. This one lady, she's so cute. She said, I feel exhausted just listening to you talk. That is crazy. Do you even have a life? You have to share everything? I was like, and that is so true.
Some people, and I find that with classes that, you know, some people are very tech savvy and they can't, you know, get enough of what you're saying. And then some people are so overwhelmed by the end of it. But you need to, if you're overwhelmed, you need to start with what you can start with rather than not starting at all, you know? And so start to plan your content out and then decide what you can handle, because like we said earlier, less is more.
Yeah. Oh, love it. Yeah. Remember we discussed with Julia McCoy, JOMO, joy of missing out. Okay. Less is more. And joy of missing out, and stay focused. If you cannot be all over the place, maybe just select and focus. If you couldn't produce content every single day, and focus is still better than nothing. Oh,
exactly.
Such a great piece of advice.
If you only end up posting once a week, but it's planned content once a week that provides value, that's okay.
Yeah, totally. Oh, I'm glad, and the answers helped. Great. And so we're just really wrapping up here. What is next for you, Christina, and how can we help you? Any project or things you're working on, we can help you share and promote?
Yeah, so I am I'm expanding my speaking opportunities and my topics that I'll be out there, teaching and providing workshops for. And so if you guys out there have conferences or workshop opportunities, I would love to be considered and reach out and just connect with you guys to begin with. No, you can never have enough too many friends. And so, especially on social media, right? People like this. Let me clarify. People like this.
Yes.
Yes, exactly. So workshops and teaching is really kind of where I'm going with my business right now and with PR Christina and conferences and that type of thing. And then I am also expanding into some online classroom opportunities hopefully this fall. And so working probably primarily with nonprofits to help them because they can't always afford to go to conferences. And so giving them the opportunity to log on online and learn the same things that we'll be providing at some conferences and workshops this year. So if you have an opportunity there that you would love to share with me, then I would be happy to connect with you and share, the different topics that I'm working on. But yeah, that's kind of where it's all about community building. And so if it relates to community building and social media, then I probably want to know about it.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah. And one last parting piece of advice. Where can people discover you, learn more about you?
Of course. So I am on every platform as PR Christina. And I know Christina spelled a little weird, so I'll make sure to, I'm tagged in every one of your posts, which I appreciate, and everyone can find me there.
Yeah, I just shared Christina's Twitter handle in the comment section. Please connect with her. As you can see, she's just so amazing.
Oh, I appreciate that. And I'm on LinkedIn for the more professional side of you. And then you're welcome to check out my website at prchristina.com. It does need a little bit of updating, so don't fault me on that because my baby's getting more attention than my website right now. But by the end of the year, we'll have a new website. So.
Oh, it's great. It looks great to me. I was spending time and surfing on your website the other day. It looks great. Yeah. This is awesome. And just give me 1 second, and can you just keep talking for a few seconds? Because I prepared, I said that I'm going to select a winner for those people who shared my interview. So I wrote down everyone's name on a piece of paper. I'm going to randomly draw a piece of paper, but I left that piece of paper in a different room. I'm going to grab it. So just keep talking and entertain everyone for a few seconds. Yeah, I'll be right back.
No, I wish I could see the comments so I could answer questions for you guys, but the comments are not popping up. And so let's, I guess, talk a little bit about one more tip on creating content. So you need to consider a budget. I think one thing we didn't talk about is a budget for your content. A lot of people think social media is free. And it is to a point, but if you don't have some sort of budget to be able to target your audience with that content, then even if it's $1 a day, I know that nonprofits have no money, that sometimes entrepreneurs have no money. And if you at least put $1 a day behind your content so you can target your audience, then that really will make a huge difference on your page.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you. And so here I have everyone's name. I don't know. I think someone already left. And I'm just going to randomly select a winner, and I will contact you to get a free copy of Lisa Byers' book. She has two. One is PR Secrets. Another one is Digital Detox. Tell me whichever you want, and it will be on me. Okay. Woo. Okay. This is the lucky winner. Kim. Oh my goodness, Kim. Because She was the winner last time. She got a book of Mark Schiffer's book. She got a copy of Mark Schiffer's book. And she, oh my God, she has too much luck. But anyway, thank you so much, everyone. And thank you so much, Christina, for an amazing interview, and everyone in the audience for joining us live. Today, the engagement was crazy. Please make sure that you follow Christina. Oh,
say hi.
Oh, that just melts my heart. I can stay here forever now. I'm like, these things is like, they get me. Oh, so cute. Yeah. So thank you, everyone. I hope to see you next Wednesday, same time, same location, and we have a very special topic. We are going to discuss emotional freedom typing technique, to discuss how you can do emotional freedom typing, certain part of your body, to overcome our self-limiting beliefs on money, on career, on life, on everything. So she is amazing. See you next week. Enjoy. I love you. I appreciate you. Bye.